Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. All I can say is bravo, bravo. The Europeans, in this case the Germans, reached the top of the mountain. They are right there and they tell us all that they will give Ukraine what they want in arms. Remember, they started with little things, with helmets, with socks and condoms and other things, until they got to howitzers and down they got to tanks. Good job, good job. Is Germany involved? Is an active participant in the war? I think it is, right? So let's see. Let's say you beat your enemy, and then he gets water and get medication, and, all kind of pills to revive and get stronger. What would you do with the guy who's gonna help this guy to beat you up now? Maybe you can do something, right? Or you would like to do something. The new Voice of Ukraine says on October 6th, head of German Parliamentary Defense Committee calls for Germany to provide Ukraine with tanks. So this is the chief, the head of the Parliamentary Defense Committee. So they decide. All right? Marie Agnes Stark-Zimmermann. This woman was the one who said, with no evidence, that the Russians blew up the Nord Stream pipeline 1 and 2. She said that. The next day or the day they say, oh my God, they were blown up. She came with another weasel. I made a comment on her that she's way gone. She's, how do you call it? She's out of the warranty. She's gone, like partially dead or something. Anyway, she said that yeah, well, we gotta do it. Oh, here she is. So, I'm not talking BS. All right, I don't know if you can see her, but yeah, I think it's enough. It's a Biden. I'm gonna call it. I can't put it. This is a Biden. Anyway, so she decided now. Now I know, because I know the Zimmermann name. So the chairwoman of the German Parliament's Defense Committee called on the German government to transfer Leopard 2 or Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine during a visit to Kiev on October 6th, today. Zimmermann, she must be a feminist, thinking that if you put Struck being, her maiden name, is gonna make Zimmermann, her husband, equal with her maiden name. But she's such an idiot because she doesn't realize that her maiden name is her father's name. So here we go again. Stupid. When you see people, oh, my name is Marie Thomas Jones. Why? Because Thomas was my maiden name. Yeah, and your maiden name was another man's last name. So you bear his name. These guys are just below 86, man. Look at them. Listen to them. So, Zimmermann said that given the Ukraine army's gains in the territory, she considers the German Marder infantry fighting vehicles to be suitable for use. But if you're winning, if they're winning, why would you give them? You give them if they lose, right? Not to win. If they win, if something works just fine, don't change anything. Remember that kind of advice? If it works, don't touch it. If it doesn't work, then you do something. Well, Ukrainians are supposedly working just fine. And I'm quoting, if you want to reconquer eastern Ukraine, that makes sense from my understanding. Oh my God, she used the word understanding, said Zimmermann. And I'm quoting, the Marder was made specifically for fighting positions. That would be an additional piece of military equipment that is highly relevant at the stage. I don't think she knows how a pistol works. Or a revolver. A pistol is too complicated for a revolver, easier, okay? I don't think so. If you give her a revolver or a handgun, she's going to grab it by the barrel and say, what is this? How do you use this? You hit someone in the head with it? Oh, and she's the chairwoman of the defense something. The politician rejected claims that Ukrainian soldiers could not operate Western weapons systems. What do you mean? They're tards or something? It's an old argument, she explained. It's so insulting. And I'm quoting, that's already been said about the PZH 2000 and the Gepard. You could use the phase until winter to train Ukrainian soldiers on the Marder. Yeah, you can train them. The day before, the head of the European Parliament, Robert Metzel, also called on the EU to supply tanks to the armed forces of Ukraine. Now everybody converges, everybody's mountain slope, converges now. Like it's a, like a, how do you call it? I can't remember. Like a volcano, that kind. Everybody's coming through a path and coming out, and here is the nuclear weapons, tank, airplanes. No more than that, and NATO army in it. That's like the final countdown. Yeah. So the day before, the head of the European Parliament, Robert Metzel, also called for the EU to supply tanks to the armed forces of Ukraine. As Zimmermann wrote on Twitter, she plans to meet with political and military officials and once again emphasized that Berlin must increase its support of Ukraine. What about the people that you represent? And by the way, you are not, or you were, I'm guessing. German newspaper Der Spiegel has reported that Zimmermann is scheduled to speak with the representatives of the Ukrainian parliament and government, including Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov. What about Shmihal? And Andrei Yermak, another one, there you go. You're in charge. And President Volodymyr Zelensky. All right, so all three. Hora, Haparapa, Havana, Gila, all three of them. Yeah. On September 6th, German news outlet Welt reported that German Chancellor Olaf Scholz refused to supply Ukraine with German-made Leopard 2 tanks. Commenting on this, Scholz said that his country is providing Ukraine with sufficient aid in weapons, and every decision to supply any shipment is made in coordination with allies. Do you mean like, okay, do it? They said do it. That's the coordination. On September 15, German Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht, another person who, if you give her a handgun, is going to grab it by the barrel and hit you in the head with a, handle. But she is the defense minister. Announced that Berlin is ready to send Dingo armored vehicles and additional Mars 2 multiple rocket launchers to Ukraine. On September 21st, at the plenary session of the German parliament, a vote on the immediate transfer of German Leopard tanks to the Ukrainian army was again postponed, US political news outlet Politico reported. Well, so the title is Head of the German Parliamentary Defense Committee calls for Germany to provide Ukraine with tanks. Okay, well, provide them with tanks. Why not? Why don't you provide them with the US nuclear weapons that you have on your territory? Because you can, because you're under occupation. You've been since 1945. Your your balls were snipped then, and you don't have any. You're just flat down there. What can I say, man? It doesn't seem you're going to grow any, because you have to consult with allies who have 70,000 military personnel on your territory, have nuclear weapons on your territory, they have airfields on your territory, because you want them to be over there to defend you from the Russians. Yeah, and now is the real threat, because see what they did to the Ukraine. You're next, and you might be next, and you might be next. Are you scared enough? Yeah, now listen to me. Let's send them some more weapons over there, okay? Good, thank you. When I want to get something more, I will scare you some more. I'll be back with a horror movie and scenarios. So easy, like a German guy. Actually, he was Austrian, but Austria is German. However, Austria, so wir sind Österreich. No, okay, whatever you want to say. You are Österreich. You are German because Österreich, the Reich from the east of what? Or of the Reich. So you gotta come back, but you won't come back because you already had the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and you're not gonna come back. We know that one. So anyway, the Austrian said, right, that then became the leader of the Third Reich. He said how fortunate the politicians are because the masses are dumb. Well, it works now as it worked then and as it worked always in our history. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.